I hate theater today. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh, dear Lord, please let it be a good show, and let it be short. I mean, 2 hours is fine. 3 hours, too much. Oh, and God, keep the actors out of the audience. I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. All I want is a story and a few good songs to take me away. I mean, I just want to be entertained. Isn't that the point? Amen. You know, it used to be, when people sat in darkened theaters, they'd be thinking, what have George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or, could Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you imagine? Nowadays, it's please, Elton John. Must we continue this charade? It used to be, sitting there in the dark, you knew you would be entering a world of color, and music, and glamour, and you think to yourself, my God, where are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, how times have changed. Hello, how are we this evening? I'm feeling a little blue myself. You know, a little anxious for no particular reason, a little sad that I should be feeling anxious at this age, a little self-conscious anxiety mixed with non-specific sadness, a state that I call blue. Anyway, when I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So, I was going through my records this morning. Yes, records. And at first, I thought I would play the soundtrack recording of Meredith Willson's The Music Man. You remember? 76 trombone. And then I thought, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the magical world of the 1920s, where the champagne flowed and the caviar chilled and the whole world was a party. For the wealthy, anyway. So, I dug around, and what did I find but one of my favorite shows? Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone, remember? No. Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set, remastered from the original 1928 recording. The full show with the original cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Isn't she elegant? And this is a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe it? Let me read to you what it says on the back. It says, mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Well, of course, the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now. But back then, it just meant fun. And that's what this show is, fun. So, would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you?
Yes!
I was hoping you would say yes. Do you hear that static? Oh, I love that sound. To me, it's the sound of a time machine starting up. All right, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928, and you've just arrived at the doors of the Morosco Theatre in New York. It's cold, and remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November's the new August. It's global warming. We're all doomed. Anyway, it's cold, and a heavy gray sleet is falling from the sky. But you don't care, because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't this wonderful? helps if you close your eyes. Overtures. Overtures are out of style now. I miss them. It's the show's way of welcoming you. Hello, welcome. The meal will arrive shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? That's what an overture is, a musical appetizer. A sort of platter of tunes, if you will. Oh, something new. What could it be? Sounds like a dance tune. Kind of rollicking? Maybe involving pirates? Don't worry, there are no pirates.
Where is Janet Bass and when will she appear? doesn't matter.
Good job I bought my own. Champagne makes me drowsy.
It's really happening. Truly happening. Oh, what's happening? What is happening?
And tricks, the 88 tricks, queen of the sky. I circle through the stratus in my modern apparatus. And tricks, the 88 tricks, I've gotta fly. I'll see you when they tie the knots.
Away, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
Well, there you have it. All the guests have arrived. We have a bride who's giving up the stage for love, her dashing bridegroom, a harried producer, two jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a Latin Lothario, a flaky Carice. And then, of course, there's the aviatrix, what we now call a lesbian. And then, of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more do you need for an evening's entertainment? Wasn't that wonderful? And we will ding along. You know, I don't even know what that means. All right, I'll try and lead you through this record as best I can. Don't worry, it won't be difficult. So, we begin with a welcome from the love-struck groom.
Well, I would just like to thank you all for coming. Why, who'd have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass
Here.
to Miss Janet Van de Graaff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me.
The groom mustn't see his bride on the day of the wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you were listening there, because basically that's the plot. Hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room. Say, it's a little early in the day to be drinking, isn't it?
I don't understand the question.
Look, you keep Janet away from Robert, you understand? You're a chaperone. It's your only job.
I'm on Capitan.
Oh, Robert! Who's my little monkey?
I am. I'm your little monkey.
So, the bride and groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Feltic!
Getting married and leaving show business.
Mr. Feltic!
Doesn't she know I got obligations?
Mr. Feltic! I can be your leading lady. You said it yourself, I'm useless in the chorus.
Kitty, I've told you before, you ain't got what it takes.
But I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
Kitty and Felzik were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, here's a familiar comic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something quite clever, and everyone wonders if it was all just an act. The irony here is, Sadie actually was quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. Still, she had a wonderful career on the stage. In those days, the theater was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. This was before television.
Kitty, I don't have time for this.
Before, Mr. Feltic?
No.
How about a nice all.
Guys, I'm not hungry.
Then perhaps we can give you something else to chew on.
Yeah, something that ain't food.
What?
Your confusion is to be expected.
Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also
And primarily,
employees of a certain individual.
A certain individual.
A certain individual.
who happens to be the largest single investor in Felsick's Follies. And he has sent us here today
As pastry chefs, to express his concern of Miss Vandegraff's impending nuptials.
Specifically,
That if she gets married,
and leaves the show,
then there ain't no show. Say, don't I know you? No, you don't. Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
you ever spent any time in a coma?
No. But I have a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Guys, you can tell your boss this wedding is never going to happen. You have my word.
Oh, well, take your word, all right.
But to go back on that word would be a recipe for disaster. Now we hope we've made ourselves perfectly clear.
One can only hope.
You must gotta be kidding me.
A trifle much.
Don't talk with me.
You can drop the pastry chef routine now.
Alas, we can dash.
We're all the lamb.
The lamb is an entree. You macaron.
Now, the gangsters were played by vaudeville duo Joan and Peter Tall. They were born Alma and Mendel Moshloshkovich, but were renamed at Ellis Island by a sarcastic immigration official. They were typical Broadway gangsters of the period, full of wordplay and stylized movement. Not very intimidating, unless you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but for reasons that would not be appropriate to this discussion.
Hey! So, we'll leave this matter in your hands, Mr. Felsick, but in the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel.
Try the Toledo surprise. It's to die for. Holy cows, Mr. Felsick! They're gangsters!
Very perceptive. Now go powder your face. I gotta stop this wedding. But how? How? Oh, Lord in heaven! How? How?
I always thought that moment was a little overplayed. Well, with the story well underway, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He was famous as the Albright toothpaste man. His dazzling smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the early 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true, if you looked at the label, it was the 5th ingredient down, right after sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before he became a huge matinee idol.
Now, don't you worry. It's perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is, of course.
I love Percy Hyman. Now, there are those who say he was not a good actor. To those people, I say, shut up!
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man, shaking and a-quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something vaguely bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little rhythm. Young feet, old feet can be uncontrolled feet. Rhythm make them cold feet trot down the aisle. Frosty arches, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can jive. soul, come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, schmold feet, turn them into bold feet, rather make them cold feet. Hot.
Yeah, don't say it. But why don't you just slime back into your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Now I've got to get another minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song an old Negro taught me. A Dixie remedy for wedding day jitters.
You think you got jitters? You got the easy part. I still got to get rice, boutonnieres, and a minister. I have the weight of the wedding on my shoulders.
George, it sounds like you've got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Bold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet?
No! You make them cold feet. Ha! Come on, girl. Come on.
Hyman was a wonderful performer. I like to think of him panting and sweating after a strenuous dance routine. He's still alive, you know. I saw him in the news recently celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the passing years had taken their toll in his physique would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out, and he had that look of wide-eyed, pained confusion which God reserves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know, the one that says, "Where am I? Who am I? And Why is this cake on fire? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
All right. That's enough of that dancing around like a fool.
Oh, sorry, George. I was just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day, after all.
You could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Why don't you go out for a skate instead?
George.
That's what I do when I want to blow off some steam.
What would I do without you?
Oh, wait a minute. What was I thinking? No. You can't go out like that, my friend. You might see Janet. Here, put on this blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
I'm just looking out for you, my boy, and no more tap dancing. Wedding bells will ring. Oh, wedding bells will chime. Oh. Wedding bells will celebrate.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. Just ignore it. It will stop soon. What? What do you want?
Hello. You have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone, and I'll call you back at my convenience.
Oh, well, that's it. It's ruined. Thank you, life. Oh, you know, it's like a cell phone being off in a theater. Oh, God, I hate that. Hello, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at the theater ruining the moment. How about you? Oh, I couldn't get out tonight, so I just thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. Sorry. Let's just shake that off. Let's cast our minds back to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928, but they probably had something else for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something.
Happy wedding time.
And so the scene shifts, and we find the bride, the glamorous Janet Van de Graaff, entertaining questions from reporters as she lounges by the pool.
Miss Van de Graaff, is it true you've given up a successful career to marry a man you hardly know?
Yes, Robert and I met on the Lido deck of the Ile de France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interests. We spooned, briefly, and then he proposed.
What do you do when you go back on stage?
I shan't.
You shan't?
I shan't.
Can we quote you on that?
Of course. One more question? Yes?
Why in the world would anybody put olives in a Gibson?
I got one. Why would anyone give up the footlights when you know you've got grease paint in your veins?
Oh, Victor.
Oh, Janet, I'm begging you. Dump the mug. Stay with the Follies. I'll give you anything you want. All right, I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Oh, Victor, if you think this has anything to do with vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss Miss no more. Blow my signature no more. I don't want to show off. Don't try to convince me. I've made up my mind, and that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be cute no more. Make the no more attention. I counted to 10, and I'm through. Adieu. You'll never see this. You'll never see this. Never see this. Never see that. Never see these again. I don't want to change keys no more. I don't want to string tease no more. I don't want to say cheese no more. I don't care if you scoff. I don't want to be praised no more, cheered no more, grabbed no more, touched no more, loved no more. I don't want to show off.
We don't want to show off.
I don't want to show off.
We don't want to show off.
I don't want to show off.
We don't want to show off.
I don't want to show no more.
Did I miss something?
Well, Mr. Phelps, it's plainly obvious Miss Vandergrass has no desire to continue her life on stage.
Can't you see? It's killing her soul.
Guys, this isn't over.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't do an encore.
I don't wanna encore no more. Let's shout for more, no more. Hear the audience roar, no more. I don't wanna
That was Jane Roberts as the bride. She was famous as the Oops Girl, remember? Surely you remember the Oops Girl? She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so great, it caused the men around her to have accidents. No, I mean, spill the drinks, drive their cars into criminals. And she would go, oops. Well, I'm not really doing her justice, but the public ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops. The Oops Girl. Oops Girl Comes Home. And Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
Okay. Begging and groveling didn't work, so on to plan B. And for that, I'm gonna need an accomplice. Someone gullible and without morals. For this, I need a, what do you call him? A European. La 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 la.
Enter Adolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Adolfo was played by former silent film star and world-class alcoholic Roman Bertelli. He was the one who later drank himself to death at his chateau in Nice, remember? It was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time it had been partially consumed by his poodles. Well, he was only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met.
I am Adolfo.
You are Adolfo?
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Not the Adolfo.
Yes, I am Adolfo.
It's funny. You don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes. What?
But just now I overheard the groom saying that Adolfo was a scoundrel. I I just heard him say that.
What? Adolfo, a scoundrel?
Those very words.
Adolfo is a scoundrel?
It's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous! Why, he is saying this to people's the beautiful ladies with the breasts for making a love. Oh, why? I must.
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and kill him.
Yes! No! Don't kill him. Just hurt him enough so he can't get married.
Show me to this groom. Wait! What kind of a man is this groom? A big man?
Well,
A burly fellow?
well, he's big on the outside.
No. Adolfo will not fight big men. Small, pale, wheezy little dwarf people. Adolfo can cut far away, but no a big man. No.
So you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some people say I am the king of romance.
Well, you know what they say. The best way to get revenge back on a man is through his...
Through his door.
No. The best way to get revenge back on a man is...
Through his window.
No! Revenge back on a man!
Through his. There is no other wise. I am not a Santa Claus coming down the chimney.
Through his woman?
His woman.
Adolfo, you must seduce his woman.
His woman.
His bride.
Yes! Adolfo will make a love to bride. That will show people Adolfo is no scoundrel. Show me to this bride. Wait!
What?
What kind of a woman is this bride? A bigger woman?
No.
A burly woman.
No, she's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
She's a looker, an attractive woman.
Aye. Let's show me to this cat in pajamas. Adolfo will make her purr.
Stop it.
Like a cat in pajamas.
Yes.
Roman Bertelli chewing the scenery. You certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that today, could you? Mature, contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotypes on the stage. So we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Yes, madam.
The pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide the liquor for the party. But remember, underling, we have to be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It is prohibition after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to use code words. Oh, for instance, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down?
No, I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
So, what's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice.
Vodka.
Yes. Well, that's settled then. One less thing to do. I wonder, underling, might I have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would really enjoy a refreshing glass of ice water.
this scene?
Yeah, I really do need a glass of ice water.
A glass of iced water, madam.
Yes, a glass of ice water. Are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your iced water, madam.
Can you poop?
You know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. An actress playing one of the gangsters, for instance.
Your iced water, madam.
Can you poop?
Yes, some elements were quite progressive, others were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm going to skip ahead.
Your iced water, madam.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm off to find myself some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice, for heaven's sake, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, you are probably asking yourselves, what was that routine doing in the show? Well, it's very simple. There was a song coming up, and they needed something to allow for the set change. It's mechanics, actually. It's like pornography. Oh, I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. Don't be alarmed. In pornography, the story is simplistic. How do I pay for this pizza, being the classic example? My point is, as in a musical, the story only exists to connect the longer, more engaging production numbers. Oh, what? Well, what kind of a society do we live in if we can't discuss the similarities between pornography and musical theater?
In a few hours' time, I'm going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Oh, life is a mad whirlwind.
Now, this is a really interesting scene. The only time that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone together on stage. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
Oh, I'm so full of apprehension. But I suppose that's normal under the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
Oh, no, I drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your iced water, madam. I'm afraid we're fresh out of olives.
Have you ever been married, Enderley?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my effort.
Oh, you two. I know you think it's crazy, giving up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know. But when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, gee, I get all woozy, and that's love, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the wooziness can be caused by any number of things. I'm feeling a little woozy myself right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by that time she was in her late 80s, so her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. Still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be included in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate. But you just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Oh, Chaperone, You're really not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration? Really, dear, that's not my forte.
Well then, couldn't you just...
As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we bumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, barely knowing left from right nor right from wrong. And the best that we can do is hope a bluebird will sing his song as we stumble along.
Well, that was... Well, that was quite nice, Chaperone. But I don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Oh, let me explain.
Oh, well, that's not really necessary. I just would like a...
It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica, oh please.
Antarctica, oh please.
But you mustn't let it lick you, this planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along, cross life's crowded dance floors, as we push and we shove, we live and we learn. And when we finally leave them all, and we see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn. Then we stumble along through dawn's blinding sunbeams, barely knowing right from right nor left from wrong. But as long as we can hear that little bluebird, there'll be a song as we stumble along, as we stumble, bumble, fumble, plumble, as we stumble along.
Don't you just want her? Basically, she sings a rousing anthem about alcoholism. That's what I love about her. She just does her own thing, regardless of the needs and concerns of others. My mother was like that.
Well, that was inspiring, Chaperone. But I'm still conflicted. Should I marry Robert?
Oh, you'll have to decide that for yourself.
But I just have to know if he loves me.
Why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert. And I'm not supposed to see him on the day of the wedding. In fact, it's it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're absolutely right, and I take my responsibilities terribly seriously. But right now, I'm feeling terribly drowsy, and I need to have a little lie down. Now, don't you go wandering off looking for your fiancé to ask him the one question upon which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Silly little fool. Still, I envy her. When will love come crashing through my door?
La 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 la.
Look who it is! It's Adolfo come to seduce the bride.
I am Adolfo.
Try not to think of the poodles when you're listening to this part.
I am Adolfo. And you are bride.
No, I am not.
What? This is bridal suite, and you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be bride.
Oh, an interesting argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
What?
Me, no bride. Perhaps I could take a message for her.
Yes, very good. Dear Van de Graaf bride, I must make love to you and transport you to plies of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Signed Adolfo, king of romance.
Oh, you have seen through my little rouge. You have found me out.
So you are the bride?
Oh, apparently, yes.
No, not Adolfo. Adolfo, you must remember my name for when we are making love and you are screaming. You must say the right name or it will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? Ha! I'm sure that you have heard the name Adolfo, a ladies' man who wins a climb, Adolfo. Well, lovely miss, I am the same Adolfo. I introduce myself, I am Adolfo.
Nice to meet you, shall we?
And not so fast, so just in case you didn't hear Adolfo, I'll try to make it very clear, Adolfo. The lovely ladies always cheer Adolfo. When I repeat myself, I am Adolfo.
Understood.
I can sing it high, Adolfo. I can sing it low, Adolfo. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly. I want to do it now, but it would take hours. Now let us see if you remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
Now who's the fellow that you see?
Adolfo.
And how should you refer to me?
Adolfo.
And who is it I'd rather be?
Adolfo.
And I'll sing it proudly.
You are Adolfo.
And now let me spell it out to you. For all you lovely ladies who didn't hear for some reason. Maybe you're hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes.
number in the show. That was her fun. I think it was her secret fantasy to be swept off her feet by a Latin lover. I mean, a real Latin lover, not a buffoon. But then, that's what musicals are all about, right? Spontaneous tangoing, falling in love at the drop of a hat, finding yourself in an insanely romantic situation.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. La 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 la. Oh, don't worry, madam. Thank you. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear a blindfold.
A blindfold?
Say, who am I talking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, Mimi from France.
This scene couldn't be more ridiculous.
So, you are marrying Janet Van de Graaf, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful.
Oui, oui.
And glamorous.
Ah, oui, oui.
Is it true she has an exceptionally broad range and can excel at both comedic and dramatic roles?
Say, I'm having problems placing your accent. Whereabouts in France are you from?
Oh, the middle part, where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about your, how you say in English, fiancé?
That's right.
Tell me, when was it you knew she was the only one for you?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. I was standing on the Lido deck, thank you, of the Ile-de-France.
Yes?
And I was entertaining her with stories of my father's oil interest.
And then what happened?
Oh, and then I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes, and I felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
That's right. Right on my keister. And I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
But we haven't left the dock yet.
That's what she said. Oh, and that's when I knew it must be love.
And then you said?
And then I said, there was a time I could stop on a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hem that's been caught by a shoe. When my two lovesick arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen. Oh, so how be I happen to you? Oh, Well, then she joined in.
When men say it's sweet and they fall at my feet, my heart doesn't beat any faster. But when you lose control, it touches my soul. So I'm bracing myself for disaster. You're an accident waiting to happen.
That's right.
A catastrophe destined to be.
That's me. I'm the rags in the cellar.
A broken umbrella,
A branch hanging loose from a tree.
I can see myself jumping and clapping for a man who lives dangerously.
I'm an accident waiting to happen.
So hurry and happen to me. And then what happened?
Well, and then we kissed. I'm an accident waiting to happen. So hurry and happen to me.
You kissed this strange French girl on your wedding day.
No, wait, what have I done? Wait!
Well, it seems like the blindfold and the fake French accent have led to a terrible misunderstanding. Will it all work out in the end? Of course it will. It's not real, it's a musical. Everything always works out in musicals. In the real world, nothing ever works out, and the only people who burst into song are the hopelessly deranged.
Mr. Felting!
Where is that philandering foreigner?
Mr. Felting!
I mean, how long does it take to seduce one bride?
Mr. Felting, you don't need Janet no more.
Oh, not now, Kitty.
I've been working on a mind reading act. Presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible. Now, think of something.
Oh, I'm thinking of something, all right.
Wait, I'm getting it. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread and don't forget to shave your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot.
No wonder it was so easy. Mr. Felting.
Mr. Felting!
It would seem that the wedding is proceeding according to schedule.
So, it seems it's time to receive your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Should we whip up something special for Mr. Feldzig?
Yeah. How about a Toledo surprise?
An inspired choice.
A Toledo surprise? I don't think I've heard of that.
No, you haven't. And most people who have heard of it are generally never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
But first, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow.
And then you got a Toledo. Toledo surprise!
Could you run that by me one more time?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Feldzig.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow.
And then you got a Toledo. Toledo surprise! Say, why don't we give him a little taste?
All right.
No, stop. Wait. What style? What grace? What rhythm? Open your fists. Now shake them. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da.
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up,
Crunch!
nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo, Toledo surprise.
Now say it!
Hit the the beach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo. Toledo surprise. If you beat it up, and you sweet it up, when you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it, it's a snap. Try it, folks, with your whites, split your yolks, then you got a Splendido. Toledo surprise.
You guys are naturals.
Honest?
Sure, I'll go draw up the contract.
Hey.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Whoa, what's going on here?
I'm developing a new act, Kitty.
Toledo surprise.
You mean you're putting the gangsters in the show when you won't put me in it? They're not even in the open.
No, Kitty, you got it all wrong. The new act I'm developing, it's for you. And these guys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy cats! What's that hot Toledo just to my libido? And, ooh, yes, Toledo, sugary, yum, yum. With the cream, with the pan, with the spoon, with the plan, makes your busty tuxedo, Toledo surprise.
Wait! Adolfo, he make announcement. A wedding is up.
Oh, what? For the love of God, why?
Adolfo has made a love to the bride.
Oh,
That is not the bride, you idiot. That's the chaperone.
what? The wedding is on.
The wedding is on. Robert kissed a French girl. Her name's Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Oh, sweet mother of pearl.
Angeline,
Yes, madam.
what is all this commotion?
The wedding, madam?
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
Not anymore. Oh, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Hear the floor, guys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. If you heat it up, and it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo surprise.
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Surprise! Wait till it's ready! Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Now it's looking ready.
Surprise!
Got it.
It makes me twitch, makes me shake. This dessert takes the cake, hits me like a torpedo. Toledo surprise!
Toledo
Yes, but the tune is so offensive!
Robert!
Oh.
This is the saddest day of my life!
Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, and we'll never celebrate the happy wedding time.
Well, that's that. The curtain falls, and it's time for intermission. At least it would be if we had a curtain and we were actually sitting in the Morosco Theater in New York watching the Drowsy Chaperone, which of course we are not. I don't like intermissions. They spoil the magic. You know, 1 minute you're sitting lost in a glamorous world of music and romance, and then bang! You're surrounded by tourists, crinkling sweet wrappers and complaining about the queue in the ladies' restroom. It's cruel. It's an energy bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals all day long or I get jittery. It's rude, I know, but you wouldn't like the alternative. Believe you me. Believe you me. Oh, I remember my wedding day. I hadn't eaten any breakfast, and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. I do. Ah! Are you surprised that I was married? Well, there you go. You shouldn't make assumptions about people. I'm a very complicated person. Well, I gotta go pee now, and... Oh, actually, would you like to pee too? I don't mean here. All right, as I've said, I don't really like intermissions, but will we say 20 minutes? Yeah. And when you get back, you can listen to the beginning of Act 2.
bow, bow. Emperor, an American lady, no-see-eyed lady.
But Emperor, sometimes a different outlook can change your point of view.
What?
Precisely. What is it about the Asians that fascinates Caucasians? Is it about the Asians that's so nice? Is it the wontons, the egg rolls, the rice? Perhaps it's Buddha or Confucius and their excellent advice.
What is it about Caucasians that mystifies we Asians? What is it about Caucasians that's so odd? They call a pretty lady a broad. They have hair upon their chests, and they only have one god. Impossible.
Sorry, that song was not from the Drowsy Chaperone. That was from another musical. I have a woman who comes in once a month to clean. Can you say that? I have a woman? Anyway, she cleans the things I absolutely refuse to clean. She's very good, but she will put my records away and in the wrong sleeves, even though I say, no touch records, Carmela, no touch records. I suppose if I spoke to her in complete sentences, she'd stop touching my records. Anyway, that song opened Act 2 of another Gable and Stein show, The Enchanted Nightingale, a degrading piece of chinoiserie about an emperor who is told by a magic bird to marry his American elocutionist instead of his betrothed, and ends up building the Great Wall of China. A slap in the face to 4,000 years of Chinese history, but it had some wonderful tunes. Did you recognize Beatrice Stockwell as the American lady? And that was Roman Bertelli as the emperor. Yes, he was the man of 1,000 accents. All of them insulting. Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. A haunting lament from a very depressed bride. She sings it standing in her balcony, bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon, which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the day. Now, while you're listening to this, try and ignore the lyrics. I know it will be difficult, but block them out. They're not the best, but the tune is beautiful, and it truly conveys the bride's state of mind. Just ignore the lyrics.
I put a monkey on a pedestal and tried to make that monkey stay. And he did for a time, but he needed to climb and with other monkeys play. Far away, he left his jacket on that pedestal beside his tiny rusty cup, and I haven't got the strength to pick them up. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you.
I'm just gonna pour myself a brandy.
My little monkey.
Oh, the melody is so simple, it just floats in the air, and I must confess, I always get a little bit misty when I think of that tiny jacket hanging on the pedestal, its long sleeves dangling on the floor.
Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two.
here we go.
Wait!
Who are you?
I'm Janet Vandergraaf.
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of one man?
What do I care for the love of one man when I am adored by millions? Do I need to be so unique?
No, no, no!
My world is so I chose. Secret voices tell us to be every show. The just line she handed me wrong.
Let's go.
I'm Janet Vandergraaf. Ain't no nail that I can hammer. Why give up a life of glamour? Life of glamour, life of glamour. No!
I love this part. She's having a complete nervous breakdown.
I'm an ex waiting to happen. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to spread mirth no more. Be the greatest on earth no more. I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't, I do, I don't, I do. I don't wanna show and I think sure, Janet, future is secure, Janet, millions would do just fine. But any future I could ever care to share includes just one two-timing cat who drives me what a fool I've been! A heartless fool! I know now that I love you when I've thrown it all away. I love you. But is love enough? Is love ever enough? I ask the stars above. Is it the monkey or my pedestal?
Don't you just love that number? It is everything. A little Busby Berkeley, a little Planet of the Apes. And that's another thing I love about musicals in general. When a character is in crisis, they sing and they dance, which is so much better than just whining about it. But that is the glory of musical theater. Oh, you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is life. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds and the phone starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now, madam, or would you prefer me to wait till morning?
Okay, I'm going to stop this here because I do not want this number ruined by a ringing phone. Here are 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of time. They are Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know anything about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil played the ukulele, but she doesn't in this show. I tried to find out about her. I went through all my books. I even went on the internet, but all my searches ended up with Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs. Anyway, they're both charming.
Why would I want to have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, underling, never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Love is a very complex emotion, underling.
Yes, madam.
For instance, you may feel very close to someone one moment, why, and the next moment you just want to strangle them. Do you understand?
I'm familiar with the urge to strangle. Yes.
You see, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry. Love makes lovers regret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo met Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
But Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel, love can cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. 'Twas a happy fate for Hank VIII and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
Might I remind you that Anne Boleyn lost her head?
Yes, she was in love. Love was good for Eve and Adam.
Here we go again.
And Samson and Delilah.
Good grief. May I pose a question, madam?
Why, yes, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do.
Oh. Love is always lovely in the end.
Love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above. But love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But your late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly coot.
Madam.
Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, that was charming, but to be frank, on some level, that number pisses me off. Now, I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Sometimes in the end, there are lawyers. And another thing. Surely someone was aware of the awkward sexual connotation of that title. I mean, is it just me? Love is always lovely in the end? Well, I guess what I'm saying is that number is naive, and irresponsibly so. Sorry, I just thought that had to be said for the benefit of the young people. I won't interrupt for a while. Oh, there's a moment coming up in a minute that I've become obsessed with.
Oh, there you are, Chaperone. I'm in a terrible state.
You certainly are. You can't possibly go to a wedding looking like that.
Oh, you poor dear, you haven't heard. The wedding's been called off.
Oh, not yours, mine. Oh, that reminds me, might I borrow your veil?
You're getting married. But to whom?
Beautiful lady with that expression.
You're marrying Aldolfo.
Oh, surprising, I know, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, why, I get all drowsy.
And that's love, isn't it?
Yes, dear. Help. There you are. All right. I'm going to put my cards on the table. I've got a weak heart and I can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's going to give out. So please tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the good Lord in heaven. Oh,
Adolfo and Chaperone are getting married.
what?
There you all are. I have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
Yes, we know.
You know?
Yeah, we just heard.
But who told you?
I did.
But how do you know?
Oh, what difference does it make?
Mrs. Tottendale and I are to be married in the garden at 7:30 this evening.
What?
Oh, yes.
Congratulations to everyone.
What sort of cockamamie wedding is this? Everybody's getting married, except the bride and the groom.
There you are. I'm looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Oh, please don't be that way, Janet. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? I mean, it is our wedding day after all, and George has gone to all this trouble, and well, I do love you more than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
Yes, and I just can't understand it. I mean, when I was kissing that French girl, why, it was just like kissing you.
Oh, but Robin, it was me.
You mean you're Mimi? Well, that French accent is remarkably accurate.
I thank you. I developed it while playing Monique in Homes at Baguette.
There you are! Look, before you do anything, remember this. No matter how well you play the part of the happy housewife, you'll never, ever get a standing ovation.
Oh. Oh, I'm so confused. Chaperone, please, just this once, give me a piece of advice that is both coherent and appropriate to the situation. Should I marry Robert?
Okay, here it comes. The moment I was talking about. Not only the culmination of the plot, but a moment that has fascinated me more than any other and brought me back to this record again and again. Here it comes.
Well, my advice to you is,
And this is it. Listen.
live while you can.
You see, you can't quite make out what she says because somebody drops a K. I'll play it for you again.
While you can.
Is she saying live while you can or leave while you can?
While you can.
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it might just be a cynical quip, right? But this is a wedding after all, and that's exactly what you think when you're standing at the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. And you have to live. I mean, it's not an exact science. An arrow doesn't come out of the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So one day you say it to someone, you say, I love you. And you basically phrase it as a question. But they accept it as fact. And then suddenly there she is, standing in front of you in a $3,000 dress with tears in her eyes, and her nephew made the huppah. So what do? Do you say, I was kidding? I was joking. No, you can't. You live, right? You choose to live, and then for months afterwards, you stare at the alien form in bed beside you, and you think, who are you? Who are you? And then one night you say it out loud, and then it's a trial separation and couples counseling, and everything becomes about her eating disorder and your Prozac addiction, and you're constantly redefining and re-examining and revisiting until you lose the deposit in the house. And the whole relationship ends in a particularly ugly note with your only copy of Gypsy flying through the air and smashing against a living room wall. But still, in the in the larger sense, in the broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
While you can.
You have no idea how many times I've listened to that.
Oh, Chaperone, you certainly have a way with words. Oh, Robin, my answer is yes, I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, Mr. Felsley, it seems like this wedding is a done deal.
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is. I found a replacement. A new leading lady. Presenting Kitty the Incredible. Now, Kitty, show the guys how you can read my mind. My mind.
Kitty, will you marry me? Holy cats, Mr. Belden, yes,
Isn't she amazing? Well, what are you waiting for? You ladies, well, put on your frillies. We'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you did it. 4 weddings in one day. I guess you're everyone's best man now.
I am.
Yes.
I am.
Hip, hip, hooray!
It's George, that's George, the best man, George.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a 512 Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding.
Minister, you may begin. Oh no! I forgot the minister! Who the hell are you?
I'm Trix, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. To Rio I was wending when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix and then I'll fly and I'll let you lovebirds die. They're not so sorry to crash the party, folks, but we'll have this fixed in 2 shakes and then it's off to Rio for Carnival.
Wait! The captain of a ship can perform a marriage?
And a pilot is comparable to a captain.
And the aeroplane is a kind of a sheep of the air. Some people call it an air, a sheep. Oh, shit! Yes! Wait, I got it! Trix, you can marry them on the plane and we'll all have the honeymoon in Rio!
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill when lovebirds trill. I do in the sky when the bells are setting and the bees of daffodils sigh. But what when sweethearts rush, I do in the sky.
no! Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, okay, everybody stay calm. This happens occasionally. It's a horrible old apartment with terrible wiring. Just concentrate. Just keep the show alive in your minds. I'll find the fuse box. Everybody be quiet.
It's a super.
Oh, God.
Hi.
Hello.
Your lights are out.
Yes?
Yeah. We have to shut the power off. Was replacing the breaker panel in the basement?
Yes?
So we replaced it. But when we shut the power off, the breakers in all the apartments tripped.
Yes?
That happens. It's normal.
Yes?
So I have to reset your breaker.
Now?
It'll only take a second.
All right.
I did try calling you earlier. Before, but there was no answer.
Oh, I've been having a bit of trouble with the phone.
Here we go.
It was a record.
What kind of music was that?
It was a show. You know, a musical.
You like musicals?
No.
I love musicals. I go with the wife all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. Did you ever see Miss Saigon? They landed a helicopter on stage in that one. Yeah, I've seen them all. Cats, Les Mis, Saturday Night Fever. I like the movie better, though.
Really? Well, goodbye. Well, that's it. It's ruined. One note away from the end of the show and the mood is broken. Oh, I could play the record again from the beginning, couldn't I? No, I can't do that. Oh, it's so frustrating. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to understand. I love this show so much. I've never even seen it. My mother gave me the record. This was just before Father left us. Oh, I don't think he left because of the record, but I don't suppose it helped matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame and the monkey motif is labored, but it does what it sets out to do. It takes you to another world, and it gives you a little tune to carry in your head, you know? A little something to help you escape the dreary horrors of the real world. A little something for when you're feeling blue. As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to
I'm an accident waiting to happen.
stumble our way through life's crazy wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. There'll be no surprise.